Are you going to the DR soon? Well, stop scrolling because you need to hear this. You see those picture perfect beaches, those delicious pina coladas, and the beautiful people walking around everywhere, which seem endless. But so are the quiet whispers of be careful. So, what's the real story when it comes to traveling to the Dominican Republic? Is it paradise or danger? Well, the truth is, it's a stunning country, but the difference between a dream vacation and a stressful trip boils down to basically just being prepared. I'm going to give you 12 essential, no nonsense tips that will cut through all of the noise and give you the confidence to have a fantastic and, most importantly, safe vacation. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Vivid Travels. Today, we're going to be talking about travel tips that you absolutely need, whether you're traveling through the buzzing streets of Santo Domingo or the quiet beaches of Las Galeras. I can tell you that most of the fear that people talk about basically comes from just bad information. And that's why I'm here. Forget the generic advice. We're covering everything from the absolute best time to visit to handling money like a local. And yes, that very one topic that everybody asks about, safety. By the end of this video, you'll be more than ready to book a trip. Tip number 1, timing is everything. First things first, let's talk about when you should even plan your trip. The Dominican Republic has a tropical climate, so it's warm year round. But there's definitely seasons you want to know about, and they will play a role. The absolute best time to visit is during the dry season, which runs from December to April. During these months, you'll find postcard perfect weather with tons of sunshine, lower humidity, and breezy, comfortable temperatures, making it perfect for beaches or exploring. But here's the catch. It's also peak tourist season. Prices for flights and hotels are going to be at the peak, and crowds will, of course, be at their largest. If you're looking for that sweet spot with fewer people and better prices, check out the shoulder months of May, June, and November. You might get a few showers, but they usually pass quickly, and the island is incredibly lush and green. The one period to watch out for is the Atlantic hurricane season, which officially runs from June to November. While a major storm is basically a daily threat during that particular time, the risk is especially high in August, September, and October. If your dates are flexible, avoiding those months is your safest bet for perfect weather. Tip 2, where to stay. It's more than just Punta Cana. When people think of the DR, their mind usually jumps straight to Punta Cana. And look, Punta Cana is famous for a reason. Its stunning white sand beaches and massive all-inclusive resorts that just line all of those beaches are world class. If your goal is to check in and grab a drink and not have to think about a single thing, then an all-inclusive is a fantastic choice. But this country is so much more than one resort town. For a totally different vibe, head to the capital, Santo Domingo. It's the oldest European settled city in the Americas, and its Zona Colonial is an UNESCO World Heritage Site, full of cobblestone, beautiful streets, historic cathedrals, and amazing nightlife. It's a cultural hub that feels a world away from the resorts. Make sure you visit. Or, if you're an adventure seeker, look north to Puerto Plata. This area has beautiful beaches plus incredible nature like the 27 Charcos de Damajagua, a series of waterfalls you can literally slide and jump from. For true ecotourism, head inland to Jaraboca, the Dominican Alps, for hiking, whitewater rafting, and a completely different mountainous side of the country. Don't be afraid to think beyond just the inclusive package. There's a perfect spot here for every single type of traveler. Tip 3, pack smarter, not harder. Obviously, you're packing swimsuits, shorts, sandals, t-shirts, tank tops, but a few other essentials will make your trip way more comfortable and safe. First, even though it's hot, always pack a light jacket or sweater. Evenings by the coast can get a bit breezy, and if you're in the mountains or a heavily air-conditioned resort, you'll be glad that you actually have it. Second, if you plan on doing any excursions, especially going to the waterfalls, a pair of water shoes will save your feet and is an absolute game changer. They'll protect your feet and give you the grip that you actually need on those slippery, wet rocks. Also, do not underestimate the Caribbean sun. Make sure you bring your sunscreen and put it on more often than you think because you're closer to the equator, and if you're fair skinned like me, you will get sunburn. For the evenings, a good insect repellent is essential, especially if you're outside the main resort areas. Finally, a crucial safety tip. Make sure you scan your passport, driver's license, and travel insurance information. Save them to your phone and a cloud service like Google Drive, and only carry a paper copy of your passport when you go out. Make sure you leave your real one back at the hotel in the safe. I repeat, in the safe. Don't just leave it out. All right, we're just getting started. But if you're already finding these tips useful, do me a huge favor and take 2 seconds to hit that like button. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. It genuinely helps me create more guides like this for you because I then have an idea of exactly what you want to see. And drop a comment below letting me know when you're thinking about going to the Dominican Republic. Tip 4, money and currency, the peso versus the dollar debate. The official currency here is the Dominican peso, but in major tourist spots like Punta Cana, you'll see US dollars widely accepted. So which one should you use? Here's my rule of thumb. For big payments at your hotel, major tours, and high-end restaurants, using your credit card or US dollars is totally fine. But for everything else, taxis, local shops, street food, little cafes, you should absolutely use the Dominican pesos. If you pay for small things in dollars, you'll almost always get a bad exchange rate and end up overpaying. The best move is to withdraw pesos from an ATM at a real bank once you arrive. The exchange rates at the airport are usually the worst, so don't do it there. And a pro tip, always have small bills on hand, like 50, 100, and 200 peso notes, because many small shops won't have change for a big bill. Oh, and if you do bring US cash, make sure the bills are crisp and new. Torn or old looking bills are often refused. Tip number 5, getting around safely, your transportation guide. How you get around the DR can make or break your entire trip, and the options vary a lot in cost and safety. For traveling between cities, coach bus services like Caribe Tours and Metrobus are fantastic. They're comfortable, air-conditioned, and surprisingly affordable. Within cities like Santo Domingo or Puerto Plata, ride-sharing apps like Uber are available and are generally your safest and easiest bet. You get to set the price up front and you don't have to haggle. Taxis are everywhere, but stick to registered ones. Ideally, one the hotel calls for you, and always, always, always confirm the fare before you actually get in. Then you have the Wawas, which are small local buses and vans. They're incredibly cheap and a true local experience, but they get crowded and require a little Spanish and a sense of adventure. As for renting a car, it gives you the most freedom, yes, but let's say driving down here is also an adventure. It can be chaotic and aggressive, and if you do rent, use a major agency, get full insurance, and try to avoid driving at night when roads can be poorly lit. And make sure that you're an aggressive driver and that you're safe because, again, it can get a little crazy. Tip number 6, staying connected, SIM cards, and Wi-Fi. Your resort, of course, will have Wi-Fi, but it can be a little slow and only work in the lobby. If you want reliable internet to use Google Maps or call an Uber or post on social media, get a local SIM card. It is easy and cheap. The two main companies are Claro and Altice. Claro generally has the best coverage across the island, especially if you're heading to those rural areas. You can buy a SIM card at the airport or at an official store in any town. You'll need your passport to register it. For just a few bucks, you can get a data package that will last your whole trip, and it's way cheaper than the roaming with your home provider. And if you have a newer phone, check if it takes an eSIM. You can set that up before you leave home, and it's even easier. Tip number 7. Let's talk about the truth about safety. Let's address the elephant in the room, which is safety, because you hear all of those whispers. It's dangerous. Be safe. Is it safe to travel there? The U.S. State Department has a level 2 exercise increased caution advisory for the Dominican Republic because of crime. This is a valid concern, but it needs some context. This is the same advisory level given to many popular travel destinations, including several in Europe. Violent crime against tourists is not very common, especially within heavily policed resort areas, which tend to have dedicated tourist police called Sestur. The vast majority of crime is petty, opportunistic theft. Think grabbing a phone that's left on the table. Your main goal is not to be an easy target. Don't walk around flashing expensive jewelry or your brand new phone. Make sure that you pay attention to your surroundings, especially in crowded markets. Use the safe in the hotel for your passport and extra cash. When you use the ATM, pick one that's inside a bank or a busy supermarket. Avoid walking alone in isolated areas, particularly at night. Basically, the same common sense that you'd use in any big city, and that's going to apply to the DR as well. The key is to travel smart, not scared. Tip number 8, health on the island: water, sun, and insurance. 3 things are critical for staying healthy. First, and I cannot stress this enough, do not drink the tap water. I've talked about this in previous videos. Don't drink the water. Don't drink the water. Don't drink the water. Not even for brushing your teeth. Always drink and use bottled or purified water, which is available everywhere. So there's really no excuse. Your hotel will almost certainly provide free bottles in your room. Second, the Caribbean sun is no joke. A bad sunburn can ruin a whole vacation. And when I was there, I seen some pretty red people. Use a high SPF sunscreen and reapply often, more often than you would typically think. And if you can, try to make sure that you get waterproof sunscreen so that you don't just sweat it off, or when you're in the water or the pool, that it just doesn't come off that easily. And a hat and sunglasses are going to be your best friends while you're there. Third, and this is the most important health tip of all, get comprehensive travel insurance. Private clinics in tourist areas provide good care, but they can be expensive. Your insurance needs to cover medical emergencies, and ideally medical evacuation. It's a small price to pay for serious peace of mind. Tip number 9, go beyond the resort for an authentic taste. The all-inclusive resorts are amazing for unwinding, but the real soul of the Dominican Republic is waiting just beyond those walls. Please do yourself a favor and take at least one day to explore. It doesn't have to be some complicated expedition. It can be as simple as taking a taxi to a local restaurant called a comedor for a truly authentic lunch. Wander through a local market like the Mercado Modelo in Santo Domingo to see local crafts and produce. Take a walk through the historic Zona Colonial in the capital or the colorful streets of Puerto Plata. Talk to people. You'll find the Dominicans are incredibly warm, friendly, and welcoming people. This tip right here is where you make your memories that will really stick with you. Tip number 10, must-do activities and using local guides. This country is an adventurer's playground with something for everyone. Trust me. For the adrenaline junkie, canyoning down the 27 Charcos de Damawaga waterfalls near Puerto Plata is an experience you will never forget. From January to March, Samana Bay becomes one of the best places on earth for whale watching as thousands of humpback whales gather to breed. You don't want to miss that. For a breathtaking natural escape, take a guided tour to a remote spot like Los Hastizas Natural Park with its wild rock formations and ancient cave paintings, or unbelievably pristine beach of Bahia de las Aguias. For these kinds of adventures, it's always best to book with a reputable local tour operator. They handle the logistics, ensure safety, and share priceless local knowledge. So while you're riding there, make sure you spark up conversation. Tip number 11, a little Spanish goes a long way. While you'll find, of course, plenty of English spoken at the resort and the hotels, the second you step off the beaten path, you'll find most people only speak Spanish. You don't need to be fluent, but learning a few basic phrases will completely transform your interactions. Simple phrases like hola, por favor, gracias, and cuánto cuesta show respect and are deeply appreciated. You'll find people are much more willing to engage and help you out if they see that you're actually making an effort. Also, remember that haggling is very common in local markets, but always do it with a smile and a friendly attitude. Tip number 12, understanding tipping culture. Tipping is customary here, and it makes up a huge part of the income for people in the service industry. In restaurants, a 10% service charge is often automatically added to the bill, but it's common to leave an extra 5 or 10% in cash directly for your server for good service. For hotel housekeeping, leaving an equivalent of $5 to $10 a day is spot on, is a wonderful gesture. For bartenders, $1 or $2 per drink is a good rule of thumb. If you have a tour guide or driver for half or full day, a tip of $5 to $10 per person is pretty much standard. Keeping small bills in either pesos or dollars handy makes tipping much easier and always appreciated. So that's it. 12 essential tips to make your Dominican Republic trip smooth, safe, and truly unforgettable. The country is so much more than just resorts. It's a place of staggering beauty, a rich and deep history, and some of the warmest people you will ever meet. The key is simply to arrive prepared. When you travel as a smart, respectful visitor, you're not just ensuring that you have a great time, you're opening yourself up to the real magic of this Caribbean gem. So go, explore, be safe, have a vacation of a lifetime. I know I did, and my plan is to go back next year. Now that you know how to plan your trip, are you wondering where exactly to go? Make sure you click right here, for my guide for the top 10 places in the Dominican Republic you absolutely cannot miss. See you over there, and until next time, safe travels.